Today, I talked yesterday about getting out here and stripping down this side of the car, but as usual, I've changed my plans. So I got up on the roof and I started stripping the roof, and I used the same little polycarbonate 4.5-inch wheel that I got from Harbor Freight. I think the things were like, I don't know, $7 or $8 a piece, but they fit right on my DeWalt 4.5-inch angle grinder. But I think I might have spent 2 hours maybe altogether stripping the paint off of there, and there was about 6 layers of paint on the roof. And I got the majority off of there. I'm going to say 96% of it. And then I took a DA with 60 grit and went over all that, and I'm going to go back over that with 80 grit. But right now, I'm at the point where a while back I did a video where I replaced this corner section of the roof here. And the reason why, there's a spot that was right down in there that wasn't seam sealed good from the factory, and water got underneath it and it started rusting, and it had a little rust hole. I think it was right about here, and then I found a little pinhole here. And then, as with everything else in this car, I tried spot welding to fill it in so I could grind it down, and it just kept blowing the hole bigger and bigger. So luckily we got the 75 Plymouth Duster out there. That's a parts car, and I cut part off the roof a bit. I cut this off, and go around here and get on top of the car. See if I can do this without killing myself here. Now, you can probably see that grayish line there. Now, I've had a lot of people question me as to why the heck I would do this. I'll try to quickly go over it and talk about it. Many years ago, my father-in-law had a 55 Chevy, and it had that big chrome emblem on the hood. I think it was like an airplane looking thing if I remember. Anyway, there was a big hole in there. It was kind of shaped like a teardrop. And the biggest part of that hole was about 2 inches. And I watched my father-in-law, and this was back in 1994 maybe. Took a piece of 3/8-inch cold rolled steel rod and shaped it to the bottom of the hood there and put up in the bottom there, and then took his old stick welder and tack welded that in each place. And I'm looking at him like, what the heck is he doing? And then he took some duct tape and made a pocket underneath the bottom. And before he did that, he ground all around underneath the bottom side and the top with some 36 grit on a little flapper disc. And then he stuck that 2-inch tape underneath there and made a pocket. And he got 2 of them big old tubes of JB Weld, and he mixed all that up, and he packed it down in that hole really tight, and took his hand and held it underneath the bottom while he's using the Bondo spreader and pushed it in there to kind of make it squish underneath the bottom and go up underneath the back side of the hood. And I'm sitting here looking at this, I'm like, this will never work. Well, long story short, he ground that down, then put some fiberglass reinforced body filler over that, and then finished it out with regular body filler. And that car sat out in the carport with the afternoon sun setting on it every day for 8 years. And we used to go over there every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and visit. And I'd always walk over there, and I'd kind of make sure he wasn't looking, and I'd eyeball that sucker. And I'm looking everywhere for it to see if it's shrinking or swelling or cracking, or if the paint's turning into different funny colors, and nothing ever happened. So I was sold on it. So he was telling me, that whenever you put a patch on something, he said tack weld it all the way across there, and he said then grind it. He said put your epoxy down, and then let that dry, and then sand that, and put that JB Weld over the top of it. Now, here's the logic to this. JB Weld is an epoxy-based product, so it's going to stick to epoxy primer. JB Weld, they use it to fix cracked engine blocks, so it is much stronger than any body filler you're ever going to put on there. Even if you use lead, in my opinion, the JB Weld's going to be stronger. Don't quote me on this, but I think the tensile strength on it's like 3,000 PSI, something like that. So that's what I did here. I put that over the weld. That way I don't have to worry about any shrinking. Now, I took the DA and some 60 grit, and with a fresh piece of 60 grit, and I roughed this up real good. And I'm going to spread some fiberglass reinforced body filler all across here. I'm going to body work that. And I'm going to put some right across inside the edge here too, because I've done a series of stitch welds all the way across there, because I wanted to make sure I didn't have any water leaking across here. But just to be safe too, I had the epoxy on it first, and I'm going to put some of that fiberglass reinforced body pillar across there. And I've got just a little bit of a step right there and out here. This one's a little worse. I'm going to body work that, make it flow in, make sure the lines match good. So also, while I'm working on this side, this is where the lead was from the factory. And luckily, this part of the car wasn't like others I've come across. There wasn't any rust underneath the lead. Back here in the back, when I put this tail light panel on here, this is not finished yet. I just put primer on it back before Christmas time so it wouldn't rust any. But this lead, where they put down here from the factory, where this is pieced together, there was rust all underneath it. There was rust underneath here. There was rust all around there. So I just went ahead and took all the lead out of it, and I welded it down solid and put kitty hair back over that, or fiberglass reinforced body pillar. But so that's what I'm getting ready to do. I'm gonna body work that up there, get that worked out good, and get this worked out good. And there are some little dings and places in the rest of it. Right now, I'm not going to worry about it. I just want to get this big body work part done first. I'm going to put some epoxy on this and the door and the fender over there. And I might try to tonight go ahead and finish working out my quarter panels and do all this. And I may just go ahead and prime both quarter panels and the roof and get all that done. So that's what I'm doing today. I just want to talk a little bit about what I was doing there. So as I explained before, whenever you wipe body filler down, mix it up really good, make sure the color's uniform. And a good rule of thumb I use for putting the hardener in your body filler is put however big the pile is, whether it's the size of a quarter or if it's 9 inches diameter, just put one little thin string straight all the way across there. Now if it's really hot weather, you want to put less, because it's going to kick in and dry faster. But that's a good rule of thumb. Now, if that pile is thicker, you know, you're going to need a little more. But to me, it's safer to have a little bit too less body filler, as long as it kicks in and dries, than having too much and it gets hard on you and you've wasted the body filler. But after you mix it up good, you come out here and you take that Bondo spreader on the first coat, you wipe it down real tight, all the way across in every direction. Pull this way and go back that way, and this way and that way. And the reason why is you're pushing that down in every imperfection there is in there, and make sure that body filler is pushed down in it good and firm. Then after you get that pushed in there good and firm, you come back, and wherever your low spot is, which is right here, we're going to have this deviation. So I'll wipe a strip across there, and then you get a little wider, you know, and it's kind of like if you're doing a blend on paint, you know. You start right in the center and then work your way out. Or some people start on the outside edge and work their way to the center. It's a matter of preference, really. But just wanted to give some tips on that. And so that's about all for right now. Hopefully what I'm doing here helps you out. If you like it, leave some comments. If you got questions, ask questions. I'll do my best to answer. And as always, subscribe to the channel and share with your friends. Appreciate it.